It's coming up to 8 minutes past 8. Let's take a look at the protests then that happened outside County Hall in Taunton yesterday, as people voiced their concern over the future of children's centres and health visiting services in this county. Cabinet members at the County Council approved a reduction in the number of children's centres from 24 to 8. Siobhan Lennon-Patience uses the Children's Centre at Alcombe in Minehead and spoke to your politics reporter Ruth Bradley after the council meeting.
I run a support group for parents and carers of children with additional needs. It started because I've got a little boy who has achondroplasia. He's 3. It's the most common form of dwarfism, and he also has hearing difficulties. And when he was first born, I went to a group that was run through the Children's Centre. And it was a great sort of resource for me in the early days. I firmly believe in inclusion, and of course I attend all kinds of other groups with my son, just as any other parent would. But there are things that parents of children that have disabilities, sometimes they just need to be in a group with other parents who know what they're going through. And it's about sharing experiences and things like that. I think what's become really apparent is, having had to set this new group up, just how much support is needed, particularly in a rural area like West Somerset, and how little a lot of the families know about what's available and what's on offer and what help they can ask for. I'm really proud of it. I'm glad I run it, but I shouldn't have to be doing this. I shouldn't have had to step in and fill a void. I'm really pleased that I've been helped by Home Start, West Somerset and the Parent Care Forum. Absolutely fantastic. I don't want to do anybody down, but all too often when services start to diminish, and you can use whatever euphemism you want, whether that's cuts or savings or efficiencies, there are people at the end of it that are affected by this directly. And I've had to step in, along with so many others that will step in and fill that void, even though we've already got a lot of pressures on our shoulders anyway. My fear, when you read the consultation paper, and for example, that they highlight the fact that they didn't engage with families with children with disabilities. They admitted that was an omission. I attended one of the consultations at the hub in Minehead, and I talked to people about my group, but nobody said, "Hey, what a great place, why don't we come and talk to the parents that you have there?" Well, why not? The sort of response today at the meeting is that, you can be reassured that everything's going to be fine and this and that. And you think, well, no, because you're not discussing this properly and effectively with people that are actually going to be at the sharp end of what you're doing. They didn't take the opportunity to consult properly, and I noticed that no one's bothered to say. They mentioned that Minehead would be something that they would perhaps reconsider. Well, yet again, another opportunity missed, because I'm going away now and no one's bothered to say anything to me. And I think that, we are fearful. We have seen evidence, for example, in Dulverton, where services disappeared. And I don't believe that we're getting a guarantee that isn't going to happen again in Alcombe.
That's Siobhan Lennon-Patience, who runs a parent carer support group in Minehead, talking to our politics reporter Ruth Bradley. Ruth also spoke to Councillor Francis Nicholson, the Conservative Cabinet Member for Children and Families, about campaigners' concerns that the services will deteriorate with the reduction in centres.
I absolutely understand that. I also understand why people would be worried and feel that there needs to be protection for the services that they value in a time when local authorities are inevitably short of money. We have no wish to reduce services, early help services for families. We want to help families where they need help as early as possible, so that it relieves distress and difficulty for children and for their families, and it makes sure that problems get sorted early on and not later down the line.
So how will you not reduce the service when you are reducing the number of buildings you'll be based in?
Where staff are based isn't the same thing as where services are delivered. One of the things the consultation has done is to show us very useful information about where families want services to be. If the Children's Centre is the right place to deliver services, that's what we'll do. If there are other places that are better, then that's what we'll use. One example is Children's Centre at Victoria Park in Bridgewater, and the other one at Sydenham. Now, Sydenham will retain the designation as a Sure Start Children's Centre. The staff will have their bases, do their filing, be able to have their own conversations and so on there. Victoria Park Children's Centre building will no longer be designated as a Sure Start Children's Centre, but the same delivery will go on there as happens now. That's in the papers, papers that are in the public domain.
So there will still be, nursery rhyme groups and breastfeeding peer support and so on delivered from there?
Whatever is there. Of course, I am not saying that what is delivered now is set in stone forevermore. Needs change, and we need to respond to them.
How much money will this save?
I can't give you an exact figure. We have no wish to take money out of the services. We have to respond to the reduction in the public health grant that we've got. What we've done is to protect frontline services so that if we can take the savings by integrating management over time and by not putting money into buildings which in themselves can't help anybody, then we are able to protect the services that we've got at the moment, and I hope in future will increase them.
You heard this morning from a parent of a child who has additional needs who had to set up her own support group because the one she was attending stopped running at a children's centre. She said that there was no consultation specifically focused on parents of children with additional needs. Why didn't you specifically consult that group?
They were consulted as part of the consultation of all parents.
But you had specific groups for people with domestic abuse issues and so on.
There were some specific groups, you're quite right. We could always have gone on adding more groups, and maybe it would have been a good thing to do. I think we are well aware of the needs. There is plenty of time to look at arrangements for the future. I absolutely applaud the setting up of that group. One of the things that I want to see in the future is a much greater empowerment of communities to feel that they have the abilities, power, strength and support to support themselves in a good integrated way with both statutory services and other voluntary groups.
She said quite clearly she didn't want to have to do that. She has enough hospital appointments and other things going on. She did it because she had to, not because she wanted to.
And let's see how we can make sure that we take that forward in the best way.
Councillor Francis Nicholson, the Conservative Cabinet Member for Children and Families at Somerset County Council.